looks like I've been tagged again by lukemorse1. So basically this is going to be a video in response to being tagged. Now the last time I was tagged, if you saw the video, you'll notice I kind of hid out behind the camera. And I'm pretty much going to do the same thing. This time, when I go over the 5 statements or questions or whatever it is that I reveal about myself, I figure I'll play a different game to each statement. So, obviously this is the first game I'm going to play, so let's get this over with. Why do I make videos? I think I explained this last time, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to go over it again. I like to help people. And, at one time or another, all of us who have arcade cabinets, we didn't know anywhere near as much as we do now. And for people who get their first arcade cab, if something goes wrong and they don't have the knowledge or the know-how of how to fix it, they're left with 2 options. Either their beloved cab becomes a giant paperweight, or they have to spend an arm and a leg to have an arcade tech come and, take a look at the cabinet, and that can get really expensive. Trust me, I know. Oh yeah, and trying to pay attention to what you're saying and playing a game is a little bit harder than it looks, so excuse my really crappy gameplay. But anyways, if I can make a video and it helps someone out and it saves them some money, then great. When you have a cabinet, if something goes wrong, you shouldn't, be forced to spend lots of money for an easy fix. Here's an interesting fact about myself. If it wasn't for one game in particular, I may have never gotten into arcades and games in general as much as I am now. I was always into games, but then I came to a time where about 1 or 2 years I didn't play any video games. I lost all interest. I think because, I just got tired of what was released. It seemed to be nothing but crap. So I went, 2 years without playing a game. I boxed up all my systems, and I kept seeing a commercial for a particular game, and it caught my attention, and it looked like it had a great storyline, great graphics, great gameplay. So I decided I was going to buy it and, just see how it turns out. Well, I bought the game. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to play it non-stop. And, that first night when I got it, I don't know how long I played it. The next day I wanted to play it again, and my PlayStation 2 gives out on me. But I didn't care. I went to the store, got a brand new PlayStation 2, because I had to play the game. That game was the first God of War. That game renewed my interest in games and arcades in general. So, yeah, that's an interesting fact. I guess I have God of War to thank for my renewed interest. Okay, another interesting fact about myself. I don't know if it's interesting or not. I've been lifting weights for probably about 6 or 7 years. Basically how that came about is where I worked, I used to work, there was a lot of activity. I was constantly moving, doing stuff. It was like manual labor type stuff. I would buy my lunch from the Roach Coach. If you don't know what that is, those are the food trucks that come by. So, I was basically burning off all the calories I was working. Well, I eventually got promoted to an office position. So I went from constantly moving around to basically sitting on my ass working on a computer. And I kept buying my lunch from the Roach Coach. Well, I went from a slim 170 pounds, and about 2 years later I noticed somehow or another my body was replaced with a big fat slob. I was about 230 pounds of lard, so to speak. So it was like, whoa, where did that come from? So I decided, I need to lose some weight. And my mom and an ex-husband of hers Back in the day, they were not professional, they were amateur bodybuilders. So my mom knew all the secrets and ins and outs about lifting weights and dieting. So long story short, you know, I went on a strict diet, lost a lot of weight, went from about, like I said, 230 probably down to, you know, 200. Then I started putting on muscle. So yeah, for exercise I lift weights. I'm not gonna say how much I can lift. I'll just say that I can bench press, you know, a couple blondes and a brunette. But yeah, so there you go. For exercise I lift weights. Okay, number 4. For those of you who have seen my videos, you know what cabinets I have, pinballs, slot machines, etc. If you were to add up everything that I've had at one time or another, in addition to what I have right now, I've had in my possession 2 other pinball machines, 2 other slot machines, I would say probably 12 other cabinets, and about 3 other main machines. So I've had a lot in my possession over time. And the reason I don't have these machines anymore is either I sold them or... well, that sucked. Either I sold them or I traded them for something else. To give you an example, I had a Donkey Kong cocktail cab, and I traded that for another cabinet as well as some money. I had a Cherry Master cab, sold that. I had a tabletop main machine, and I traded that for the Donkey Kong cab and the Cherry Master. So yeah, I've done a lot of wheeling and dealing when it comes to arcade stuff. So let's go the last and final. Okay, and for a final statement or fact about myself, the most expensive game I ever purchased, I paid $130 for it, and the game was Street Fighter 2 for the Famicom, or the Super Famicom. I had the Super Nintendo, and as you know, games were usually released in Japan a lot sooner than they were in the United States. So I believe Street Fighter 2 was released like 4 or 5 months in Japan prior to its US release date. And I needed to get the game, so I went to a local mom and pop game shop, and I bought the import version for $130. So if you think about it, back then, $130 was worth more than it is today. I was the only one of my friends who had the game that early, so needless to say, I was very popular at that time. Never regretted it, loved playing the game. So there you go. Those are your 5 facts about me for being tagged. Until next time.